Hello, and welcome to hashtag Stronger with Memorial, an online chat where specialists throughout Memorial Healthcare System bring you helpful tips to stay safe and healthy while at home during the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, I have the pleasure of talking to Dr. Claudia Vicencio. She's the Director of Outpatient Behavioral Health at Memorial Healthcare System, and she's going to be talking to us about taking care of our mental health while sheltering in place. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Vicencio. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. This is so important, and I'm so happy to be part of Memorial reaching out to the community.
I am too. So let's jump right in with the first question. So, a lot of families are home right now, parents, possibly grandparents, kids, all in the same place. So, my first question is, how can parents support their children during this time?
There's so many creative ways I think that we can. I'm a parent myself. I have an 8-year-old, and when I was getting ready for this, I asked, "What do you think is an important way that we can tell other parents on how to support their children?" And he said to make sure that they know that you're going to be there for them if they get sick. And when I started to unpack that, it was making sure that they know that we're there for them, talking about ways that we are helping to keep them safe and healthy, and using age appropriate language. So maybe instead of social distancing, which sounds, could be alienating, maybe physical distancing, and why do we do it? I think as we control our own emotions also and be able to manage our own stress levels, I think we go a long way with keeping our families healthy from an emotional perspective. There's so many new stressors that we're dealing with, and being able to talk about those things in a way that is open and supportive, I think goes a long way towards managing our own stress and our children's.
Excellent. How can parents deal with their own anxiety while balancing their children's?
One of the things that I was thinking about is the way that we recognize anxiety, right? So anxiety sometimes is a little bit, it's a very physical sensation, but sometimes it's difficult to figure out what's making me feel uneasy. And if it's hard for us, it's also hard for our kids, right? So we start to look for signs such as maybe being more irritable, maybe crying more, but it could also be things that are somatic. So feeling a headache, stomach ache, or appetite or sleep, being conscious of our own changes in our own bodies, the way that we're managing stress, and then being able to address it. So for us, I think it's different things that people are starting to get into now, such as mindfulness is really important, and we're going to give out some resources on things that you can do at home. There's apps, there's so many tutorials right now, there's things that you can read. So learning how to just be in the moment, even though the moment may not be the moment that you want, just accepting that it is the moment that's happening now. Exercise is a huge thing, and now we can exercise with our family, going for walks, taking a diet from news. So making sure that you're being very mindful of how much news you're exposing yourself to and your kids to. Something really big that I keep thinking about a lot is looking for that silver lining in the middle of all of this. Is there something that we can learn ourselves or teach our kids that we can't get through, all of these online classes and the virtual learning, and which is things like gratitude and kindness.
Obviously, this is a very stressful time for everyone, but certainly couples may be experiencing some problems in their relationships right now as a result of the crisis. What advice can you give to couples?
That's a big one because, if this is in a time of crisis, if there were issues in the relationship, they might, be more evident, especially if we're quarantining at home together. So I think that as much with kids as with your couple is being intentional about the time that you're spending together. Maybe having a conversation about, how would we like this week to go? How would we what kind of parents would we like to be to our children during this time? Or what kind of a partner could we be to each other? So sometimes just starting with an open-ended question about how we want to proceed allows us to be intentional and I think empathetic to the other person. And it takes away from, you don't do enough XYZ, right? Acknowledging that this is a hard time, right? Not acting like everything is normal because it's not. I would say that we are concerned as mental health professionals with increased domestic violence during this time. So if there is, real trouble in the relationship, this would be a good time to seek out counseling. Try to talk to somebody. Couples counseling, you can do that via Zoom. There's so many ways now that therapists and private practice are providing services virtually. It's 800-799-7233. That's the National Domestic Violence Hotline. So if you do feel like you're in danger or you're in a situation, please call that number.
Thank you so much for sharing that information. Let's get right into the resources because that's really most important. A lot of times people may not know where to turn to. So if you could provide some resources to our listeners.
So two great websites are the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, and it would be NAMI.com. And they've actually put together a great PDF that has all kinds of mental health resources and includes a lot of information on what they call warm lines, which is something that I don't have to be in like a huge crisis, but if I just need to talk to someone, to have somebody listen to me, it's a wonderful resource. And NAMI has all of those details, all different warm lines because there are a few. The other would be the Mental Health America, which is another organization online. It's MHA.com. No, I think it's MHA.org. And they have, I'll send you that information, but they have a lot of different resources for different age groups. I would direct you to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is 800-273-TALK, 800-273-8255, and that's a suicide prevention hotline and 24/7, 365. And then the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration, SAMHSA, which is part of the federal government, they actually have a crisis line that they run during episodes of disasters, and they have one going on right now. And that's 800-985-5990. 800-985-5990, and they do have options for English and Spanish, and they may have other languages as well.
Awesome. This has been great, Claudia. Thank you so much. And we will definitely provide those links in the description area, as well as the phone numbers. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we end our conversation today?
I think that the hashtag Stronger Together says it all, and I just really appreciate you and the focus that you're doing because our community really needs this, and we are together in this. Sometimes we feel like we may be alone, but we're definitely all together getting through this.